Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Historical Snapshots Story Recordings. Today I'll be reading the snapshot of Jeanne Baret. And on that note, just real quick before we get started, I'd like to apologize in advance to the French-speaking listeners because my accent on the names will probably be incorrect. That said, let's get started. We've had a bit of a theme recently of writing about women who dressed as men, simply to do what women at the time weren't allowed to. Today, we add Jeanne Baret to that list. She became the first woman to circumnavigate the globe when she sailed around the world in the 1760s and 70s. It was amidst the picturesque hills of Burgundy, France, that life began for Jeanne in 1740. She was born into a humble family. Her father worked the land as a day laborer. Her mother sadly passed away shortly after Jeanne's first birthday. Growing up in this rural setting, Jeanne's education was rooted not in formal schooling, but in observation, learning about the herbs and plants that grew in the fields and forests nearby, along with their medicinal and practical uses. By early adulthood, Jeanne's botany reputation had grown. This expertise brought her into the world of Philibert Commerson, a brilliant and respected naturalist who needed a housekeeper and nurse as he dealt with persistent health issues. As Jeanne began working, she also quickly became his collaborator, confidant, and essential partner in botanical studies. And, if the rumors are to be believed, she also became his lover. In 1766, Philibert was offered a role as expedition botanist on a sailing voyage around the world, looking for scientific discovery and trade opportunities for the French. The age of exploration was going through a shift in those years. Times of discovering new land had, for the most part, passed. Now explorations were funded to learn more about the land itself. Philibert wanted Jeanne to accompany him, but women were prohibited from French naval ships. Undaunted, she made a bold decision. She would disguise herself as a man. With her chest bound and dressed in male attire, she assumed the name Jeanne Baret. It helped that Philibert's role offered him a private bathroom on the ship. Still, the ruse incurred suspicion almost immediately, and there were close calls. But it wasn't until around 1768 that Jeanne's true identity was revealed. The details are themselves rumors and not always consistent. One story says that when the expedition arrived in Tahiti, the natives recognized her as a woman and either exposed her secret to the crew or she did so herself out of fear. Another says that the crew members discovered her to be a woman themselves. In either case, the consequences were harrowing. Jeanne was likely assaulted as a result. The voyage continued after Tahiti. Jeanne's role did change after her identity was revealed. Whereas she had done important botany work for much of the trip prior, leaving the ship now became more dangerous. When the expedition stopped in Mauritius, she and Philibert decided to stay. In 1773, Philibert passed away. Alone in a foreign land, Jeanne's resilience carried her forward. She married a French officer, and in 1774, the couple returned to France, completing Jeanne's historic achievement. Back in France, Jeanne lived quietly in the village of Saint-Alais, where she spent her remaining years with her husband and children. She passed away at the age of 67 in 1807.